You may or may not know this about me, but I love rhythm games because of my musical background. My name is Marco, I'm a former pro opera singer, and I love video game music, anime music, talking about music, playing music rhythm games. So today I'm actually gonna be checking out the collab between MuseDash, Kuro Games, Wuwa, and then going into Wuwa and attempting that rhythm game now that I finally have some time. So let's get into it. Let's start with MuseDash because I'm curious to see what's going on and what they're cooking. What the hell am I looking at? Oh, April Fools. Oh, Jesus. Where's Wuwa? Wuthering Waves. Imagine if there was no collab with Wuthering Waves. Level 45? Why? Alright, okay, I'm level 32. Time to grind. How do I play this again? Did I say I play this game a lot? I think I lied. Excellent. Oh god, this is gonna take forever! Fuck.
Level up!
Nope. That's not gonna work out. I'm just not high enough of a level for that. Let's go to Wuthering Waves. Let's just do that collab instead. It is what it is. All right, let's see if this rhythm game is actually any good. So I'm a big fan of rhythm games. I'm really excited to check this out. I'm excited for the fact that there is so much content here. Let's just dive in and see where we land. Hit the ground running here, and hopefully I don't totally suck, but it's possible I will, since I don't fully remember how to play either. I think it's really cool that they, at Kuro Games, decided to include a rhythm game to, you know, celebrate. I mean, God, even thinking about where we were in 1.0 to this is crazy. And I think it's such a wonderful celebration of the musical landscape of Wuthering Waves now. This really, really inspired pop sound that also, you know, kind of does a lot of things, and I think they've really found their footing, and it just speaks to the, you know, the continued evolution of the game itself. It's accessible, like I'm not playing super perfectly, but what's cool is that we are actually really leaning into the fun rhythms of these pieces. Honestly, it could probably be a little bit harder, to be honest, but this is also a pretty slow song, so it's hard to say. Oops, never mind, I spoke too soon, I suck. And generally, I would say that Wuthering Waves has really been in such a great position. I haven't done an individual video that isn't a live stream in a little bit, but I'm just so, like, chuffed that we have a rhythm game. I can't remember if this is permanent or not off the top of my head, but I think it's just so cool. And I don't know, man, like, it's just such a good game, and when you're not like sitting there trying to have some sort of a heated discussion about what game is better than the other or whatever, like, I don't know, it's just a blast. Plus, with these collaborations, again, we're continuing to push the needle of like, hey, you know, like, this is possible. We can collab with wonderful. I mean, it is a little easy, to be honest. Was that normal or was that hard? Let's see. That was hard. Maybe a faster song. Well, I think it's probably going to ramp up to higher difficulty songs. Let's see. Another slow one, but it's well designed. I'm also kind of thinking to myself, like, can this music be on the radio? You know, I think this about a lot of games sometimes, like where the music is really good. Now, granted, all of these are kind of character themes, right? But there's really kind of no reason why they wouldn't be able to play on a radio and have people be moved by them, you know? Vocal songs like this are just storytelling, you know? And there's something to be said for being able to tell a story through music that people can relate to. Personally, it's pretty crazy that this stuff exists not on the radio, you know, like these are songs that really do move people and connect people to, you know, not only the story of Wuthering Waves, but also to the characters and to their own emotions, because they're, you know, emotionally palatable, straightforward, simple, but simple doesn't always mean shallow, and shallow doesn't always mean bad either, for the record. Like, you know, you can have a piece of music that just hits the sweet spot. Maybe it isn't a fully like deep emotional journey, but it can still be fun. There's lots of shallow music on the radio. It's a little easy, you know, Triple S. Let me try the hard version of this. It's a bit slow though. I appreciate in this song the super light, very gentle vocals here. The airiness does a great job of making us feel that innocence, right? It's an excellent feeling of tranquility and peacefulness. But obviously there's also this like kind of a sound of determination. You know, no matter what happens, we continue to persevere and push through. It's the beat pattern that does that, because the vocals kind of stay light the whole time. It's not trying to be vocally strong. The subtext is actually the instruments. The instruments are the ones that are saying, hey, you can do this, you can believe in yourself. And then the strings right here support that idea of like, yeah, you can do this, you know, like, man, things are hard, especially and the guitar. There's an innocence in this quality of being like, all right, like, just keep focusing up, keep believing in yourself, you can do it. It's something that's really interesting about music, and vocal music specifically, which, you know, I feel pretty confident in, is the fact that we're really just stretching out, usually, one thematic idea. Now, sometimes vocal music, obviously, is more complex than that. It has more than one vocal idea, or we may go on a different kind of journey depending on the piece, right? But, in general, vocal tracks like this are there to ensnare us and capture us on a brief moment, right? We want to feel a very specific feeling the whole time, even if maybe later on it's a little bit louder, maybe we have a little bit of an emotional shift, but the core of the emotion stays the same. All right, no, this track is fast, and I'm hoping that we're getting actually more difficult here, because I could use some challenge. It's a little off beats there. And in truth, it's not like I love this song. This song is fine. It's not really like necessarily doing anything for me. I mean, it's a vibe, right? It feels good to listen to. It feels good to play. But it's not like I'm like, ooh, I gotta listen to that all day, every day. I think there's something to be said for exposure in rhythm games that also kind of helps us connect to pieces of music in a way that is basically impossible any other way. Rhythm games are really fun because we are directly interfacing and interacting with the music that isn't actually like if you're a musician, you know what it's like to interact with music, but you're doing it. Whereas in rhythm games, we're kind of, I like rhythm games because we're kind of celebrating the music and playing it, but playing it in a way that is sort of different than if we were like, you know, at the turnstile or whatever it's called when you're a DJ, or when you're, you know, in an orchestra or in a band, where you can still connect to the rhythm. In fact, that's really what it is. You're connecting more to the rhythm, to the beats, to the structure, to the like, you know, especially when it's well done, to all the like inner layers of the music. And I think that that's actually like super cool about rhythm games. Like you kind of get to know music in a different way. And also because it's a tactile sort of like touch experience where you're actively connecting with the music, I think it actually makes you like pieces more, or maybe accept pieces more, right? So like, I don't really love this song, but you better believe that in a couple hours, I'm gonna be vibing still, because I've experienced this.
Access authorized.
It's just not very hard. I would say that that's my biggest problem with it, is that you just kind of need to play it. I would like some like legitimate challenge, but I'm also a little bit of a glutton for punishment in that I derive great enjoyment from suffering in rhythm games. I almost always pick the hardest difficulty, just mostly because I have a chip on my shoulder. Notoriously, singers are not known for our rhythm. Ask any like other musicians, and they'll be like, yeah, singers are not known for their rhythmic identity or connection. And I think partly is because we deal with a lot of like legato, and so everything is all about the line and the smoothness of the line, which obviously when we're dealing with this, ultimately this is also a rhythmic experience. You know, we're not playing the melody per se here, especially since this is all like a pretty tactile hit. Okay, this is actually a little bit harder. So I have a chip on my shoulder about rhythm games where I feel like I have to put it on the hardest level of difficulty because I've been told my whole life that I don't have rhythm, which to be fair is true. Just ask my wife. One time we went dancing and she started laughing at me because my dancing was, I mean, honestly perfect, but you know, it's not my fault that she's got bad taste, so. But yeah, I appreciate this. I think a little bit more complexity or a harsher scoring system would have gone a longer way, further to make like rhythm fans like me, you know, maybe a little bit more seen. But that's okay. Who knows? Maybe it'll even get harder. See, here's the thing. I actually am liking this song more now because I'm playing this. And there's something to be said for exposure that sometimes we really don't get until we expose ourselves to a piece of music over the course of time. I experienced this a lot with certain operas where I was like, man, this shit sucks. And then you start to like listen to the opera a lot and you're like, oh, this opera is awesome. So it's pretty cool how like we can change our minds about things, and sometimes we actually don't change our minds, and that's okay too, right? But like that's the best part about it, because then you're like super educated on reasoning, and I think that's really dope, because I think there's nothing wrong with disliking something, but disliking something when you're educated on it and like live through it is extremely cool. Yeah, like this has a sick beat. When I started it, I didn't really care for it, but now 5 minutes later, I'm like, hell yeah. But overall, I'm really happy that they chose to go with the music event here. It's fun. I mean, it's just charming. It's clearly not especially difficult, and I think that's not a bad thing. I'd say overall, that's a pretty solid rhythm game. Now, I don't think that's like the best, and I certainly think it could be a lot harder, but I do think that, you know, for what it is, it's pretty good. I really like rhythm games, and I think that they're really fun, and they can be extremely challenging and extremely satisfying. I like that about rhythm games. I love the tactile feeling of actually experiencing music, not just through making it, but also through like experiencing it in a game format. And I think it's a really cool way for people that are even remotely interested in music to really feel and touch and connect with the experience of music itself. And I think that's awesome. And let's say you don't have access to an instrument. Well, you know, while I don't think a rhythm game or your computer or controller, like, I don't think that's really going to substitute actually like playing or certainly experiencing the vibes of being in an ensemble. What I like about this is that Wuthering Waves is reaching, you know, and other games have done this too, but like reaching millions of people, and millions of people are hopefully engaging with this for astrites, for currency, and hopefully just for fun because they like the songs. And it's a really cool way for Kuro to celebrate the last like 2 years of this game by including like some of the greatest hits. And I think it's great that they collab with Muse Dash, as you saw at the very beginning of this. I am not nearly high enough of a level, so I have some work ahead of me, because I do think that Muse Dash is also one where you can really stack the difficulty, and it's fun. I hope you like this. Definitely see you soon for more Wuthering Waves as always. Definitely check out the rest of the channel. Come support the Patreon if you like. See you later.